What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy, and today I'm here for the very long-awaited Friday Night Teamcoach preview. Oh man, it's good to know that I can at least look out for the potential changes before the round is locked up for the weekend. My god, does it feel like it's been a while since this happened, but nonetheless, we've got ourselves a round 19 Teamcoach review, and we shouldn't be making any mistakes. At least that's me being a bit too confident, because watch there be a late change that ruins me this weekend. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go straight into the star powers. Now, first things first, things I need to point out here, there's a bit too much Carlton for my liking, but at the same time, they're doing pretty well at the moment. They just came off that win against Port Adelaide, and they now get a game against West Coast, which should be an easy win for them. If they somehow lose that game, I won't know what to think of the AFL this year. But Carlton, we've got Charlie Curnow as our sharpshooter this week. I don't know how good Sam Doherty will be of a pick, but he is playing wing. He's not playing defense that I thought he usually plays. I'm hoping maybe he gets the touches that he's been getting himself even against the tougher teams. So that's one of the changes that I'm staying with. We've also got ourselves Nick Martin, who we're keeping in. I'm honestly not sure whether that is a matchup choice or whether that's just purely me thinking Nick Martin may have a good game this week, who knows. And then my next two choices, Dacos, who is a pretty safe one for me, although there are plenty of players here who can do just as well. You see Bont, who's been having some pretty good games. Dacos, he did go above average, but not the best out of everyone. LDU, I don't know, man. Whenever I don't pick him, he does well. Friggin' stressful, but Jack Steele is also going to be the supreme player is what I meant to say. 106 points last week, which is his season average, but they are up against North Melbourne, so the hopes is that he has a great game against a team that definitely won't be beating them. So that is it for our normal star powers. That's all I can really say. Ladder, not great, obviously, last week. 350 points is horrific. Let's hope we can get over 400. 400 is a safe goal, although it's definitely not getting us any prize cards, that's for sure. So I don't know if we get lucky maybe, but I do not have much hope. Ultra Star Powers. Next up, we've got ourselves. This is what we're looking at. And now looking at it, I've realized that Tom Green will not be playing. So I need to go and switch that one up very quickly. And just like that, now I am no longer confident in my Ultra Star Powers team. But I have had to switch out Tom Green because he went out late with a hamstring injury last week. And I didn't realize that he actually isn't playing again this week. That injury has kept him out. I have to double check because I'm in denial, but Jack Steele is going to be our team star powers along with LDU and now Rory Sloane instead of Tom Green. And honestly, Tom Green hasn't been playing that well as of late, so maybe this is a change that goes our way. But man, I cannot trust a team that has two young players who are still trying to find their feet on not great teams, and three older players. Jack Steele, not really. He's the captain of the Saints and has his great games every now and then. But Tex, he can still kick with the best of them, to be fair to him. And Rory Sloane has the occasional really good game, but we need over 100 from him. That is what we need. That is the very minimum we need from him. LDU, if he can get 138 for me, or something near that again, that'd be amazing, but my luck, not happening. It is just not happening. And so we look at the ladder last week. You'd see even with what we had last week, having no double points player, got a nice 333 rank. 520 points is just over 100 for each player, which is just not good enough. It's just not good enough for Ultra Star Powers. So maybe this week we can be a bit more competitive, but last week was a write-off and a half. It was just so tough. It was pretty much ruined from the minute the round started. It was not great. We're going to go to top team now. This is what it's looking like, and a few things to mention. Bont, he's going to be playing tonight against Essendon, so it's really important we get ourselves off to a good start. I need a high 130, 140 point game from him to really give myself confidence for the week. He did it last week. If he can hit 130, I'm happy. Obviously, it's going to be tough. It's never an easy task against Essendon, especially with their midfield talent, with Zach Merritt, Darcy Parish, all those likes, and even the younger ones like Nick Martin coming up. Jake Stringer is pretty reliable. Going to be an interesting game for sure, but Jordan Dawson and Errol Gordon are going to be staying in. You see here, Dacos, who's probably a lot more of a reliable pick for other people, did have himself 9 more points, but Dawson, the best at times, can explode with points, can explode. Rowan Marshall is going to be our ruck this week. He's up against North Melbourne, and they do have 2 ruckmen. They've got Tristan Xerri and Todd Goldstein, but I'll be honest, I don't think either of them can keep up with Rowan Marshall. Todd's getting a bit old, and although I think he does his best most of the times, Rowan Marshall will be able to outrun him, and Tristan Jerry sometimes just looks uncoordinated, not sure what he's doing out there. I'm sure, and I'm more than happy with him getting the game time to hopefully get better, but Rowan Marshall, chances are, will have his way. And then Errol Goulden stays in there because even though Max Gawn had a much better game than him last week, Errol Goulden is just consistently a great player. So, gonna chuck him in there. My hopes is that more people have put Maxi Gawn at forward, and he has himself a not-so-great game, or at least Errol outperforms him, is the hope at least. But who knows? We'll see what happens. That is my top 4 team, though. And last week, our top 4 team was good. We had ourselves 500 points. Gave ourselves a real good chance. We just needed 9 more points from anywhere, and it would have had us a win. And I think it was from a midfield change last week that could have done it. We had Tim Taranto in, and you see here from Taranto, basically anyone from Josh Dacos up, we would have won. And the most likely choice would have been Bont or Rory Laird. If I chose one of those two, we would have done it. So that's why I've chucked in Bonts this week, is maybe we're making up for that mistake. Who knows? Let's hope so, at least. I hope so. I can only hope. We're going to go top 18 now, though. And this is what we're looking at. Biggest changes are probably in the forward line. There's a few changes here and there that I'll point out, like Sicily and Whitfield coming in this time. But forward, we're getting Lukey Jackson back in because I've checked the lineups. The beautiful thing about games starting on Friday, I've checked the lineups. Luke Jackson is the only ruckman. Sean Darcy is not playing. So he's basically got the same thing that Max Gawn's got right now with Brodie Grundy not in the team. So these two are both going to be ruck in their respective games, and they're not really going to be switching up with many people, I'd imagine. So they're going to be all over the ball, get their possessions, get their marks. Luke Jackson and Max can both kick goals as well, hence why they're in the forward. Now we've got ourselves winger Errol Goulden, on baller Shea Bolton, Nick Martin, who I can't actually remember where they've put him. I think he's going to be somewhere in the forward line, so no on-ball position, but he gets his hands on the ball a bit. And then Charlie Kerno up against West Coast. So hopefully, unlike the trend of apparently teams not being able to kick to their best defense or best goal kickers on the day, but just kicking goals all round, I hope that Carlton will hit out Kerno. Kerno realistically should have his way. If he plays up the ground like he likes to a couple times in the game as well, he will be able to get himself those cheeky marks, easy disposals. And the only thing that I could really think is that Tom Barras maybe shuts him down, but my hope is that that isn't the case. Midfield, Taranto, Neal, Bont, Merritt, and Steele gets the call up. Marshall is in there as well. I think we're taking out Rosie, who I may actually change up for someone else in here at the last minute. I'm thinking Lockie Neal, because Lockie Neal can be a bit lazy sometimes. I say that like I have any feet to stand on here, but I think I may actually chuck Rosie in now instead of Neal. It's gonna be a big game against Collingwood, and so he's definitely gonna be needed. Plus, Butters has been chucked on the half forward. It's crazy to think how quickly Butters has kind of dropped off a bit as the season's gone on. I think Dacos has got Brownlow locked up at the moment, but Rosie has definitely been stepping up as of late as well. Taranto is a somewhat safe pick, not as safe as he used to be at the start of the season, but 111 is not a bad score. And yeah, Steele up against North Melbourne, is the hopes is that he gets his possessions there. Backline, yeah, like I mentioned, Whitfield and Sicily are the only changes in. I've kept Caleb Daniel because I think Essendon can put enough pressure that it gets in the backline a bit. Like I said, Doherty's on the wing, Dacos is on the ball most of the times, Dawson's on the ball, so everyone is primed to get possessions. And this is why I love Fridays, because this means I get the best chance at locking it in, at looking at everything and hoping that I can pick the right players. Not getting worried that a certain player isn't playing this week or gets pulled out late or on the Friday because it got locked in on the Thursday. Fridays are ideal for Teamcoach. They are ideal for Teamcoach starts. So hopefully things go well. The only things I'm kind of worried about is the 2 ruck choices, because sometimes if they get chucked in ruck, then they kind of miss out on the marks that they usually get. But I think Luke Jackson and Max Gawn can both play well enough that that won't be too much of a worry. Sicily's coming off a bit of a meh game, but it was against North, so I'm not sure how much you can really say is his fault for not getting on the ball as much. They are up against a much tougher opponent this week, so I'd imagine Sicily has to step up a bit more. Other than that, I am very confident with this top 18 team. Very confident, but Watch that come to bite me. Watch it happen. We're going to look at the ladder last week. Nearly top 50, definitely top 100. Nearly averaged 100 points per player, which is good. If you want to try and aim for 100 points per player, and you can see here, was a bit over 100 points per player if you were to win a prize card this week. But at the same time, I'm on the right track, and I think this week we can make the right changes to get it. I'm really hoping so, at least, man. I'm really hoping so. I've got myself 2 prize cards at the moment, and they need a bit of love. They need another friend. They need another friend around. But we're gonna go and check out the tips now. Let's go and see who we've got. So I'll start with the Friday night contest, SNV Bulldogs. Think I'm going to go Dogs. I think SNN could definitely take it out, especially because they need to show a lot of fight after that massive loss to Geelong. But I'm imagining a lot of people are kind of not picking them, considering that their loss to Geelong was that bad. But I don't honestly not hesitate from picking them if you were confident in them, because they can definitely show some heart, and I'd imagine they will try to after last week's performance. We'll go Carlton, pretty obvious choice, and St Kilda, another obvious choice. Brisbane v Geelong, this is going to be a good one. It's at the Gabba. I'm going to go Brisbane. But again, don't be surprised if Geelong, with their recent run of form, will go over the top of Brisbane. We're going to go Freo versus Sydney. This could go either way. I'm actually leave that for the moment. I'll leave this one. God, 2 difficult matchups, I feel like. GWS versus Gold Coast. Man, this could be tough too. Woo! There's some good matchups this week, man. Richmond v Hawthorn, though. I'm going to go Richmond confidently. Melbourne versus Adelaide. I think with the recent show of form, Melbourne are going to take this. It is at the MCG too. Melbourne, after their win last week against Brisbane, that was crazy. GWS, though, versus Gold Coast. I am going to swing, I want to say Gold Coast, but honestly, I think it'll go GWS's way. I don't know how much of an away crowd shows up for Gold Coast at Manuka. We'll see how that goes. But Freo versus Sydney, I am going to swing Sydney's way. I think that win against the Dogs was very impressive. It is at Optus Stadium, so maybe that helps out the Dockers, but Dockers have had some pretty bad losses at Optus Stadium this year, so I think Sydney definitely still has a chance. And then Power versus Collingwood, probably the matchup of the week, potentially of the season with how it's been going. I'm going to swing this one with Collingwood. I think Port Adelaide have a lot to work with, but they aren't on the same level as Collingwood at the moment. That could come back to bite me, and chances are it probably will, and I wouldn't really have a problem with it. It's a really, really interesting matchup, these two being so good. So that's where my tips lie this week. Hopefully you guys have yourselves a good weekend as well. If you guys did enjoy this video and want to see more like it, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everything is very much appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.